Hello. I just spent all day looking for my camera and it was in the back of my car, covered up by my raincoat. That's just great. Got books for the first time in forever. I have physical books, but that's because I've been curating my library. So, let me go ahead and get these organized so that we can do the book tag. I have no idea how this bookish video actually came out, and it's probably going to take a long time for it to come up because I record my videos so that I could use them across all platforms, but so that means that the file size is extremely large and it takes forever for me to edit my YouTube videos. So I'm gonna have to make a change, but I've already done the videos in this format, so you might as well finish it off. I should probably use one of the other 50 million cameras that I have to record my vlogs, but I just don't. I like using the GoPro. I'm sorry. Alright, so I'm going to do the mid-year book tag, and we're going to go over the books that I've read this year, which I feel like is a good start because I haven't really talked about all the books that I've read. So, just a little breakdown. Let me see. I don't know how many books I've read this year. Let me see. How many books have I read this year? I've read 46 books so far. My goal is to read 60 books. I always aim a little bit low because I don't want to set like a huge goal. But so far, today is June 18th. I've read 46 books. And we're going to do the mid-year book tag. So the first question is the best book that I've read so far in 2024. I haven't read like a lot of books that have been 5 stars, to be honest with you. So I think I've only had like 3 5-star reads, and they're all in this video. So, funny story about Emily Henry. I've kind of, I don't know, the book has stuck with me. It's made me feel happy and like hopeful, and it made me, I don't know, it was just a very like fun book. And I just liked it. It came to me at the right time, and I enjoyed the book. My other 5-star reads, obviously they're sitting right here, and I'm going to talk about them again in a minute. Frederick Bachman, Us Against You. This is the second novel in the Beartown series. Knocked my socks off. Yes. Really makes me want to read the next book, but the next book is thick and I'm not ready for that yet. And I've learned that I have to talk about the Jessa Hastings books, the Magnolia Parks books in tandem, because, you know, one perspective is from Daisy, the other perspective is from Magnolia, and they're basically on the same timeline, so they are basically one book. And so Daisy Hates the Great Undoing was my second 5-star, and then Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home was like 4.75, but together these 2 books together are my 5-star reads. So I really enjoyed the books. I love Daisy's perspective more than Magnolia. I don't know, I feel like Daisy's a little bit more relatable, but you have to think of them together like that. Alright, so, and then that kind of goes with question number 2, the best sequel you've read so far in 2024. Here we go again. Us Against You, Frederick Bachman. This is probably the best sequel that I've read in a long time. I just love the continuation of the story, the way that he writes his characters. It's just great. And even though there's like sad things happening in this town, you just like want to know, like the way that he develops the characters and the situations, and just how the book is just like written. It makes you just want to read more. And yeah, so definitely my favorite sequel of 2024. The new release you haven't read, but you want to, The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley. Is that how you say her name? This book is all over the place like crap on the bottom of your shoe. And so many people have said so many positive things about it. And it makes me intrigued. I do like a good time travel book. And so this is kind of like one of those. And I'm excited to read it. I'm yet to purchase it. But I am very, very excited to read that book. I don't know why I keep playing with my face. I think it's a nervous tick. Okay, 4, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have so many, but a lot of them actually came out today. I want to read The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I haven't loved all of Catherine Center's books, but last year I read Hello Stranger, which was a 5-star read, so I have like high expectations for The Rom-Commers. I love that she's like a Texan author, so because she usually writes about areas that I know about, and I don't get that very often, so I do love that. Love Unwritten, which is the second book in the Lakefront Billionaires series. I don't know how many books it's going to be, by Lauren Asher. Lauren Asher is one of my favorite like romance authors, so if she's gonna write it, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna enjoy it. She writes spicy romance books, and when I'm in the mood for a spicy romance book, I am gonna pick up a Lauren Asher book, and I'm glad that the second one came out today. I read the first one on Kindle Unlimited, and I thought that they were both out because they were both listed on Kindle Unlimited, but they were not. After I finish the book that I'm reading now, I'm probably going to read Love Unwritten. Another book is The Last One by Rachel Housewell Hull. I've read a couple of her books because they've been on Kindle Unlimited, but they've always been on like the NPR list of like books to read. I didn't love the first book, but shoot, what was that other book that I read by her? Give me a second. Give me a second. So I read These Toxic Things and We Lie Here. And I basically, These Toxic Things, I don't think I like that book. I think it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. And then the other book, We Lie Here, it was pretty good, and I gave that 4 stars. So, you know, I like to give an author like 3 books to try, and I really liked her second book, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this new book. It's about this woman who is, you know, she is facing the fact that the world is being destroyed by evil, but the evil is actually her. So I want to see how that actually plays out and how she fleshes out that character. So very excited about that. There's also always some like type of racial undertone in her book, so like if you're not into that, these books may not be for you. And the last book I'm looking forward to is The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I really enjoyed the Inheritance Game series, and I've read her White Little Lies series, which was okay, and then I started reading The Naturals, which was okay. The Inheritance Games came out after all those, so the covers kind of look similar. It has the same type of vibe on it as the Inheritance Game, so I'm really excited to get like a fast-paced little YA mystery type book, and hopefully she delivers. Question: the biggest disappointments of the year so far. First one is Holly Jackson's The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I love Holly Jackson. 5 Survive was amazing. I loved Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That was Holly Jackson, right? Yeah. And I loved all of those, and after 5 Survive, I really thought that this book was going to be amazing. I went and bought it, you see, and it just kind of really fell flat with me. I didn't like the characters. I didn't really resonate with the story. I think that it was too long. The next book that was kind of a disappointment for me was The Night in Question by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson. Last year I read the Agathas written by them, and this is like kind of the sequel to the book, and I gave the Agathas 5 stars. Like I just love the book. Like I couldn't put it down, and I just constantly was reading it. And in this book it was completely the opposite. I think the first story was more compelling, and seeing as though they were trying to continue the series with, you know, the girl sleuths type thing, like a Nancy Drew type vibe. Like I get it, but like I kind of wish that they, I don't know. I wish that they kind of wouldn't connected the books. Like, they could be standalone books and not be connected. So, I don't know. It just felt like that it was connected, but like, I don't know. It didn't need to be. But as a standalone book, I didn't enjoy it. It just fell really flat with me. And the mystery wasn't like interesting at all to me. So, that's just me. The next book that disappointed me this year was Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice by El Cosimino. I love the Finley Donovan books, but I kind of feel like that the series has run its course, and this book picked up exactly where, like, the same night that the other book ended. And so, like, I had a hard time remembering because I had read the book last year. The series may have run its course now with how they're unraveling basically the same mystery. That's what, or maybe we need to move on to the next thing, but it may have already run its course. And then I see that there's another Finley Donovan book coming out next year, and I just cannot fathom what that book is going to be about. And I read 2 books by Leanne Mariotti. Is that how you say it? Apples Never Fall and What Alice Forgot. I just don't think the writing style is for me. I don't like these books. I wanted to read them because they were going, Apples Never Fall is on Peacock, and I was like, oh, I'm going to watch the show, but I need to read the book first. And now, after I read the book, I have no desire to watch the show. So, and then I was going through like Bookstagram and everything, and people were rating their favorite books by her, and What Alice Forgot was one of those books, and I read it, and I just don't like how she writes the books and how she ends the books, because now I feel like that I was reading for absolutely nothing sometimes. I don't know. Comment down below if you feel the same way, and or like what other books I should give a try from her. I don't know. It's just not an author for me. The next question is, what is the biggest book surprise this year? Let me dig through my list. Oh, I left it in my room. I left it on the bed, and I intentionally walked in there to get it. After watching the Oscars and seeing that Erasure had won so much, I was like intrigued about what that was. And so I read the book. I read the book very quickly. I read it over spring break in like 2 days, and that book had me giggling and laughing and just like really thinking. There were parts of the book that were kind of like, why is this in here? Or it was kind of disconnected for me. But for like overall, that book surprised me with his writing style and everything. I don't know if it's just for that book. Like, I see that he has a new book out, James Percival, and I don't know if I want to read it, but I actually really enjoyed Erasure enough to make me want to watch the movie. So I should probably get on that. And I just recently started reading Heartstopper. What is it considered? The graphic novel Heartstopper, and I can't get enough of it. Like, it is so cute and so good, and I'm really surprised that I like it that much. And I'm reading it because I want to watch the Netflix show, and people say that there's a lot of crossover on it, so I wanted to make sure that I had read the graphic novels before jumping in. But like, I cannot get enough of them. And the next question is, my new favorite author debut or new to you. I really enjoyed The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. So I just love how she writes. And I think that this is her first book, and I don't know, it was just like a magical story, which I don't know if that's like how she's going to continue to write, but I loved how she wrote her characters and the emotions behind it and everything. So I hope that her next book is like that. I'll continue to talk more about The Wishing Game later, I promise. My newest fictional crush, I'm not going to say, I don't really get attached to book characters like a lot of people do. I mean, the one book character that I have a fictional crush on is Christian Hems from Magnolia Parks and Dizzy Hates. Like, yes. But I also I did form some type of attachment to Miles Novak from Funny Story. I don't know. I just loved how he paid attention and he was just very attentive, and how he was like a people person to everyone, and I just really, really loved that. And I also loved how he had his own struggles that made him more relatable to me, but like how he was trying to overcome that so that he could like be in a relationship with someone else. So yeah, Miles Novak, I did have a fictional crush. I need to change the battery on my camera. We had a camera problem. That's why it's going to look a little different. The next question was, what is my newest favorite character? Like I said, I don't really get attached to characters like that, so I don't have a new favorite character. Sorry. What is the book that made me cry this year? Just for the summer, Abby Jimenez. This book was very, very relatable to me in lots of aspects, and I just actually love the story between the two main characters, but the relationship that she had with her mom was just very, very relatable in lots of aspects. And I don't know, this one hit home a little bit differently than any other book that I read this year. Favorite book to film adaptation that you've seen this year? Haven't seen any, so I can't really talk about that. The most beautiful book that you bought so far this year? I don't know. I don't really pay attention to books like that, but my kid loves the way that the Beaumont books look, so I'll just go ahead and add that in here. She likes how they all look on the shelf, and she says she can't wait to be older so that she can read books like this, because she says that it looks like the Northern Lights, so I'll take it. And the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have so many. My TBR list is ridiculous, and I just keep buying books because I will buy books when they're on sale. But they're all on my Kindle, to be honest. So like then I forget that I bought those books because I'm not looking at them. But I do have 2 books that I would love to read by the end of the year. These are highly anticipated for me, and then that's why I haven't read them, because I want to make sure that I have the time to sit down to read them. So, Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. She's one of my favorite authors. And, you know, of course, everyone's already talked about this book and how great it is and everything. So, I want to make sure that I can give it the justice that it needs. And I've put it off so long. And I probably should sit down and read it this summer while I have like more time. And then Willie is my husband. If you don't know, he has constantly talked about how this is his favorite book that he has read this year, Chain Gang All Stars. And if he likes it and he got excited about it, I'm gonna give it a try so that we can talk about books. And yeah, so I'm very, very excited to read these 2 books. Both really recommended by Willie. So it's the husband picks my TBR kind of in a way. Yeah. So that is my mid-year book tag. Like I said, I haven't had like a really strong reading year. Maybe that's probably due to the selection of books that I have picked. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for a smutty romance, and I've read a lot of those that have been pretty decent. And I've read like some really, really good fiction books this year. Speaking of Beartown and all that. So I just have to be able to receive the information. I also feel like I've been slumping a little bit. So I feel like I'm out of the book slump, but for like 2 months I was slumping really hard. So I'm really on the lookout for some good 5-star reads. So I'm glad that I didn't give Funny Story a 5-star, but I mean, I've talked about it enough, especially here in this video, that I probably should be giving it a 5-star. But yeah, so that is all for this video. I really hope that this video turned out well. I apologize for still not doing the reading journal. Maybe the journaling is just not a thing for me, but I really want to do it. It's so annoying. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.